Hello, this is the TradeSite U.S. Stocks and Futures Market Preview and Domestic Economic Data Roadmap for the week beginning Monday, the 21st of September 2015, ending Friday, the 25th. Hope you have a good trading week. We just wrapped up options expiration here in the U.S. Let's start with the ES front month futures contract, and you can see the little plunge we had obviously back in August. And now let's talk about that plunge. When it happened, right after it happened, and we got the first bounce back, we had talked about this level here, which was the fact that we'd basically bounced back to the green line. That's the 61.8% fib retracement. And then from there, we lowered to the brighter green line, which is the 25%, and we stuck between the two for quite a while here. On Thursday, after the Fed meeting, they gave it a look like maybe we were going to break back above that line. We had shot up, moved back down, sat, and then finally in the last hour and a half started to move up pretty solidly. And it was looking like everybody back in the pool, Fed's not lowering or Fed's not raising rates. Instead, though, the real sellers came in after that, sold the market off into the close on Thursday. We closed near the lows of the day. And then on Friday, we came into a big gap down. You can't tell the gap from the futures, but you'll see it when we look at the intraday action. And ended up closing, obviously lower again. So we're still in a wedge, and we're threatening to break the low of that wedge. And if we do, the next stop's the 25% at the green line, and then the next stop's the lows from August. And I still say odds are that that comes into play. So the S&P cash index lost 32 points on Friday. The NDX lost 61 and also doesn't look too good, although it's right on the 10 EMA. SOX lost 10. That's pretty mild for the SOX. They had a pretty narrow week in general. By the way, we had a bad volume week. We'll see that in a moment here. Biotech's lost 61. That kind of looks like a blip. The VIX was back up 1.14 after sweeping back under 20 for the first time in a while on Friday. If you look at this chart, it looks like a basing action at 20 that broke out on the spike down in the market on August and just retested the 20. If this curls back up, the market's heading lower. TRIN 2.67 for the close brings the moving average back up to 1.38. But we've had a lot of low days in the TRIN here over the last 10. So if another big number drops off, which I think it does tomorrow after tomorrow's action, that TRIN could get a lower reading. Remember, it's under 0.85 on the 10-day moving average that we are monitoring for issues with the market. Here's the volume. It was real unfortunate this week. We got the lightest volume day of the year, basically, to start the week out of the blue after having some nice trading for a couple weeks. And even though we had the options expiration this week, it just became, that was triple expiration. It became really apparent fairly early on that everybody was waiting for the Fed in anticipation that they might raise rates, and they did not, of course. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday were pretty light. Thursday started out even worse by a long shot, but then when the Fed announced with 2 minutes late, volume came in both ways, and we got up to almost 1.8 billion on that day. And then, of course, Friday, useless volume for expiration. The market gaps down, but it's all about the contracts rolling to stocks and closing out positions. So it's not real volume on expiration date. Every quarter you can see get one day that sticks out amongst the rest. It's not real volume. It means nothing. 2.7 billion shares on the NASDAQ on Friday. Here's the advanced decline ratio. 930 more stocks down than up on the on the NASDAQ on Friday. 1,217 stocks more down than up. Notice also we talked about Google, the secret 13 sell signal on Google that we'd been talking about 2 nights ago. They got it on Thursday, and look what happened on Friday. Right on cue. Apple strangely is trying to form an awkward buy signal. Very odd. Amazon was actually positive by 1.39 for the session, despite everything that was going on, and Netflix down 1.59. A put call ratio pretty much got up there near 1.3 at the open. And crude oil, we like to look at that as well, back down. Been a little more volatile, 44.68 for the close on crude oil, but that wall was that green static trend line there. All right, let's look at the intra week action, and I'm going to take this over to the 10-minute charts, not the 5 minutes, so you can see the whole week on this time frame. So you can see last Friday's close. Monday was pretty flat as an open. Didn't do a lot. Remember, there was very low volume. Tuesday, oh God, painful. Basically a flat opening and just dead flat for the whole session. Wednesday, at least, we started to pick up a bit, but volume was still very light. Thursday, also dead flat, and then a slight rise. And what's strange about that, actually, this chart is not showing Friday's data for some reason. Oh, sorry, this is still the U contract. My apologies. Let me go to the December contract so you can see everything. There you go. So Monday was the one that's flat. Tuesday with the rise. Wednesday fairly flat. Thursday flat until the Fed announcement. Then you wiggle both ways. That December contract is fully in play now. By Friday, there was no more trading in the September contract, which is why that chart showed that. And then the gap down Friday morning, and we end up closing near the lows of the week, but certainly not at new lows or anything that would scare the market too much. But it's not a positive close, obviously, for the session. All right, so what do we have to look at? Oh, here's the NASDAQ side just to show you that as well. The NQ Z5 contract in December, and very similar. Monday flat, Tuesday did make some move. Wednesday did try to make a move. Both days were very light on volume. Thursday was horrible until the Fed, and then the gap down. Retested the lows of Thursday and then rolled. All right, so what do we expect intra-week here? What do we have coming out in terms of data that we can focus on? Here's a look. On Monday, the existing home sales number at 10 a.m. Eastern, 30 minutes in, not a big deal. Tuesday, just the FHFA housing price index, the HPI, not a big deal. Wednesday, MBA mortgage index, crude oil inventories, not a big deal. Thursday, initial and continuing jobless claims, durable orders, durable goods, new home sales, and natty gas, not a big deal. Friday, the third look at gross domestic product from the second quarter. The third look is usually not very important, and Michigan sentiment final for the month as well. So that is it. Not a big deal. Not a lot of key data coming out this week. It's all going to be about just the market in general and what's going on in China and the rest of the world. We do have an election out of Greece. You got no Fed for 6 more weeks. You don't have another triple expiration until right before Christmas. We do have earnings coming up in a few weeks in October, but the only thing that really stands out to me right now is that we're just over a week away from the end of the quarter. So that last few days of September can be slow as they lock things down for what they call quarter end window dressing. But it's going to be real interesting to see here if we do start to break to the downside and go retest those lows of August. As a trader, that's the type of volatility you'd certainly like to see. It'd be a little more interesting than just sitting here. Charts as usual brought to you by eSignal. If you have any questions, you can stop by our lab and we'll help you out. We do offer a 2-week free trial completely of our services at this point. Charts brought to you by eSignal. If you do find these videos useful, please like them on YouTube. It does help us out. Have a great weekend and a great trading week.